with T-Mobile and what mobile broadband is, we work in the space of 1 to 2,000 employees in the businesses. And what we're really discovering are the solutions and applications that specifically businesses are looking to make themselves more productive. Mm-hmm. So, we've been talking about optimization, we've been talking about expansion of networks, and it really is going to come down to an optimization because our customers are going to demand as they create their own applications so that they can, in fact, run their own businesses better. We talk about immobility. They don't want to be sitting in an office. They want to be out. They want to talk about vertical markets. Mm-hmm. Specifically, we've done some things with transportation. We've done things with legal. We've done things with healthcare because there are a lot of really smart people out there who are creating these applications that allow those businesses to run even more effectively for their customers.
The U.S. network capacity today is at 80% utilization, which is staggering because if we're already at 80, that means even though you bring in newer forms or newer, networks, obviously, we're still going to load them up. One other data point is that the AT&T network itself has seen an 8,000% increase in data traffic over the last 3 years.
The Motorola approach, and primarily want to talk about the approach from our perspective, where we are, the 4G side of it is the LTE component. When Motorola entered that market space, they focused on the LTE and ensured and founded that in the compliance of those LTE standards. This was absolutely critical to the successful build-out of the public safety networks. If you're not familiar with what's going on in the public safety world, they've already received 700 megahertz spectrum. They're currently in the process of trying to get an additional 10 megahertz of spectrum. That's up there in the political side of it now. So there's a couple bills you can go out and follow. They'll be out there. But the key to that was that they had standardized on the LTE side of the solution. This allows us to leverage these LTE-based standards to develop mission-critical applications for public safety.
That's a great question. I think as the media pushes 4G more, they may or may not quite understand what the 4G means, but that they want it, that they know that it means bigger, better, faster. And, we just actually turned up 56 more cities last week with our 4G network, including Baltimore and Washington, D.C. So, we're trying to overcome that growth, beat that growth, be ahead of the curve, because it is coming. We are seeing a demand for that.
To go back to the infrastructure, they could care less. Many of these guys who are, held responsible for deploying some of the applications, they could care less about the infrastructure, whether it's 3G or 4G. They just want this to work. They have this expectation that, you own the network, just make it happen.
For years, public safety has really started to look, as this progressed, looked at the 4G networks as they evolved and identifying different ways that they could benefit from using that high-speed information. Some of them range from video surveillance. Obviously, that's an officer safety issue. You could have a video being deployed in some of your high-crime areas without actually having to have an officer sit there and identify those things. They also have things like in-vehicle video, which you probably all have seen on TV as they're chasing people. But that's just in video. What happens there is they have to actually bring that information back and then give it to and connect to either a wire line or have a media piece, a USB, to connect and get that data. Now that we have some high-speed capabilities, they'll be able to broadcast that directly back to some command center.
I mean, from an infrastructure rollout perspective, I really can't answer as to how you can build safety, the safety component into it. But from the other end, the other side of it, I certainly see lots of opportunities to build safety or public safety in general in terms of applications or even some of the newer technologies like M2M, machine-to-machine, and other, capabilities that you can build into the network or tie to the network and build real, compelling applications.
We'll continue to build the path so that there can be more broadband available for the applications that can provide a safety factor, be it an EMS, being able to send x-rays ahead to the hospital, be it the fact that there's an Amber Alert that we can get it out to everyone, be it the fact that we're on the lookout for someone that's escaped, fugitive, so that we can provide that bandwidth, that structure, those applications. So to your question of maybe where the revenue can come from, it would potentially be building of those applications that would then use the infrastructure in play.